Namaskar, good evening. You are watching Rajya Sabha television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with News Tonight. Let's begin the bulletin with the top headlines. India and Indonesia agree to upgrade ties to comprehensive strategic partnership, signed 15 MOUs including one on defence cooperation. Prime Minister Modi also announces 30-day free visa for Indonesian citizens. Rules Review Committee set up by Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu, considering tough recommendations against House disruptors, automatic suspension of allowances of members or suspension of named members being considered. Banking operations severely hit as 10 lakh employees of 21 public sector banks go on two-day nationwide strike, employees protesting meager 2% wage hike. ICICI Bank to set up independent inquiry against its CEO and MD Chanda Kochar, committee to probe allegations of quid pro quo and conflict of interest in the Videocon loan case. And Indian Meteorological Department forecasts normal monsoon for all of India, heavy rains lash many places in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, a day after the southwest monsoon hit the Kerala coast. And first, the top story. India and Indonesia signed 15 agreements today, including boosting bilateral trade to $50 billion by 2025. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Indonesian President Joko Widodo also agreed to upgrade ties to strengthen strategic partnership. The Prime Minister is on his maiden visit to Indonesia as a part of India's Act East policy. He is also scheduled to make a brief stopover in Kuala Lumpur and visit Singapore.
With a focus on defence cooperation, India and Indonesia signed 15 MOUs in Jakarta on Wednesday. The agreements were signed after Prime Minister Narendra Modi held delegation-level talks with Indonesian President Joko Widodo. Both countries agreed to boost bilateral trade to $50 billion by 2025. They also agreed to optimize cooperation between ASEAN and India to establish sustainable and mutually beneficial trade relations. An MOU on cooperation in the field of health was also signed. Both sides welcomed an agreement on cooperation in the railway sector to promote technical cooperation and exchange of technology. In a joint press statement after the talks, Prime Minister Modi said India and Indonesia have agreed to upgrade their ties to comprehensive strategic partnership.
हम वर्ष 2025 तक द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को $50 बिलियन के स्तर तक ले जाने के लिए अपने प्रयास दोगुने करेंगे और इन प्रयासों में सहायता के लिए मैं हमारे सीईओ फोरम के सकारात्मक योगदान का भी अभिनंदन करता हूं.
Both leaders strongly condemned terrorism in all its forms and urged all countries to work towards disrupting terrorist networks and their financing channels.
इस प्रकार की त्रासद घटनाएं यह संदेश देती हैं कि आतंकवाद से लड़ने के लिए विश्व स्तर पर मिलजुल कर किए जा रहे हैं प्रयासों में और अधिक गति लाने की समय की मांग है.
As maritime neighbors, India and Indonesia underlined the importance of stronger connectivity, particularly on sea links to facilitate economic cooperation. They welcomed the plan to build direct connectivity between Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Indonesia to unleash the economic potentials of both areas.
Of development of a blue economy, infrastructure, including port infrastructure, and the security architecture in the Indo-Pacific. There were several agreements signed, including a defense cooperation agreement, a space agreement, a joint task force to develop port infrastructure in and around Sabang, and cooperation in building connectivity with Andaman and Aceh province of Indonesia.
The Prime Minister on his maiden visit was accorded a ceremonial guard of honor at the Istana Merdeka, which is one of the 6 presidential palaces in Indonesia. He also paid tribute at Indonesia's iconic Kalibata National Hero Cemetery in Jakarta. Prime Minister Modi also inaugurated Jakarta's famous annual kite festival along with the Indonesian president. Themed on Hindu mythology, the festival saw kites depicting stories from the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata. The Prime Minister also visited the Istiqlal Mosque in Jakarta. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also addressed the Indian diaspora and in a major decision announced a 30-day free visa for Indonesian citizens. He also listed his government's achievements and said India is getting ready according to the need and expectations of the 21st century. Prime Minister said with transparent and sensitive processes, India has become the world's second largest startup ecosystem with main focus on ease of doing business.
आप अपने हिंदुस्तान के दोस्त नहीं, इंडोनेशिया के भी दोस्तों को लेकर के भारत आने जाने की जरा आदत बनाइए। आप जरूर आए। भारत में किस प्रकार बदलाव आ रहा है, ये आप अनुभव कर पाएंगे। इंडोनेशिया के नागरिकों के लिए 30 दिन के लिए भारत यात्रा के निःशुल्क वीजा की व्यवस्था की जा रही है। मिनिमम गवर्नमेंट, मैक्सिमम गवर्नेंस, इस पर हम आग्रही हैं। हम सिटीजन फर्स्ट के मंत्र को लेकर के आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। सरकार बहुत ग्राउंड लेवल पर आखिरी व्यक्ति तक पहुंच करके प्रशासनिक, वित्तीय और कानूनी कदम का फायदा नीचे तक पहुंचे, इसके लिए कदम उठा रही है।
On to some more developments which occurred through the day. Vice President and Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said on Wednesday that the committee set up by him to review the rules of the Rajya Sabha has started work and will submit an interim report next month. A 2-member committee had been set up earlier this month by the Rajya Sabha Chairman for a comprehensive review of the rules in order to deal with serial disruptors and frequent stalling of proceedings by political parties that affects the functioning of the upper house. The Vice President said this while releasing Rajya Sabha member and Congress leader Abhishek Manu Singhvi's book, Straight Talk. He also urged political parties to work together to inspire confidence among the people, saying that parties are only rivals and not enemies. He added that the Rules Review Committee would consider Singhvi's recommendations for automatic suspension of the allowances of members for the period of disruption, combined with suspension of named members for a prolonged period without revocation.
Committee to review and revisit the rules of procedure and business of Rajya Sabha for enabling smooth functioning of the House. This committee has started its work and an interim report is likely to be submitted in the next month. The suggestion of Sri Singhvi will also be considered by the committee. Amending law, second, is to see the whip does not apply to legislative voting at the time of introduction of bills so that bipartisan legislative proposals can be made that have a chance of becoming law. It's a very important issue he has raised.
And the Vice President also interacted with students of Delhi Public School RK Puram on Wednesday. Students of the school won the Asian Regional Space Settlement Design Competition 2018 and are scheduled to participate in the World Final to be held at NASA in USA. Speaking to them, the Vice President said, scientific research is of no use if it does not improve the life of people. The Election Commission has announced schedule for biennial elections to the Rajya Sabha from Kerala. The election schedule has been announced due to retirement of 3 sitting members on July 1st this year. The retiring members are P.J. Kurian, Joy Abraham and C.P. Narayanan. As per the schedule, the notification for the polls will be issued on 4th June. The last date of making nominations is 11th June. Scrutiny will take place the next day. 14th June is the last date of withdrawal of nominations. Polling takes place on June 21st and counting on the same day. And following the reports of faulty EVMs, re-polling was held at 123 polling stations across 3 parliamentary constituencies of Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Nagaland on Wednesday. Re-polling was held at 73 booths in Kairana Lok Sabha constituency. An estimated 61% voter turnout was recorded. 45% voters cast their vote in the re-polling held at 49 booths in Bhandara Gondia Lok Sabha's constituency in Maharashtra, while 44.68% turnout was registered at 1 polling station in Nagaland. By-polls were held for 4 Lok Sabha and 10 assembly seats on Monday. Over 11% of the 10,300 VVPAT machines across 10 states had developed faults and had to be replaced. And now the weather news. Met Department on Wednesday said that the entire country is likely to receive normal monsoon this year, except the east and northeast India, which is likely to witness below normal rainfall. The Met Department kept its prediction of normal monsoon unchanged in its second stage long-range forecast. The monthly rainfall over the country as a whole is likely to be 101% of the long period average during July and 94% of LPA during August. According to the IMD's prediction on distribution of rainfall, the central India too will get normal rainfall, but the southern peninsula may get below normal rainfall. The northeast is expected to get least rainfall or below normal rainfall during June to September. This is the third consecutive year when the IMD predicted normal monsoon rainfall.
Today we have announced the second stage also. So monsoon is likely to be normal in this year. That is, we are still continuing with that. And quantitatively, if we are talking that whole India rainfall will be about 97%. उसमें plus or minus for error that margin we always give. So again we are continuing with that 97% of the average. That is 89 centimeter is the total rainfall for the country as a whole for the monsoon season. So this we are expecting 97% of that. So it will be in the normal stage.
And now let's take a look at the weather conditions across India. And with that, time for a very short breather. More national and international news on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching News Tonight. Bank employees are on a 2-day nationwide strike on Wednesday and Thursday. The strike, being led by the United Forum of Bank Unions, is against the 2% wage revision for the bank employees, while operations in private banks like ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank are almost normal. Banking activities are hit in 85,000 branches of 21 public sector banks across the country, having a business share of about 70%. Paralysing banking operations across the country, nearly 10 lakh bank employees of 21 state-run banks across the country are on a 2-day nationwide strike. The employees are protesting against a nominal 2% wage hike offered by the Indian Banks Association.
5 साल के बाद वेतन वृद्धि होती है। 2017 नवंबर से वो ड्यू थी। यूनियंस ने अपना कॉमन चार्टर डिमांड दिया था, जिसमें लगभग हम 20 से 25% की मांग कर रहे थे, क्योंकि पिछले सेटलमेंट में 15% सरकार ने दिया था। तो हमें लगता था कि भाई 20-25 मांग रहे हैं, कम से कम 20 पर 18 पे कहीं जाके बात हो। पहला इशू फाइनेंशियल इशू पे बात होती है मई में, और उसमें एक शर्मनाक ऑफर IBA के द्वारा 2% की जाती है।
The strike at the end of the month has affected salary withdrawals from bank branches. Deposit in banks, FD renewal, government treasury operation, money market operations are also affected. There have been reports of ATM services being hit from several places. The bank employees claim that they do not have any role in the rising NPAs of the public sector banks. The bank unions have also warned of going on indefinite strike if their demands were not met.
काम करने के लिए बैंक कर्मचारी हैं, अधिकारी हैं, लेकिन जब 5 साल के बाद में वेतन वृद्धि का मौका आता है तो इस टाइम 2% की हमें वृद्धि का ऑफर दिया गया है, जो बिल्कुल ही नेग्लिजिबल है।
अगर ये मांगें नहीं मानी जाती तो उसके बाद में अनिश्चितकालीन हड़ताल जो शीर्ष नेता है वो तय करेंगे। बड़े लोगों को जो NPA वगैरह उनसे हो रहे हैं तो छोटे लोगों के कर्मचारी को नहीं रखा जाए, उनको सम्मानजनक जो वेतन वृद्धि है वो इनको दी जाए।
In the last wage revision in 2012, which was for the period between November 1st, 2012 and October 31st, 2017, IBA gave a 15% wage hike. However, in the meeting on May 5th, the IBA proposed a mere 2% hike, which the employees called unjust. The bank employees claim that wage revisions are due from November 2017. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And ICICI Bank on Wednesday announced that it has ordered an independent investigation into allegations of conflict of interest in CEO Chanda Kocher's dealings with certain borrowers. The decision of the bank's board of directors comes days after the SEBI issued a notice to Kocher about the bank's dealings with Videocon Group and New Power Renewables. Questions have been raised over the 3,250 crore rupees loan the bank sanctioned to the Videocon Group in 2012. ICICI Bank said that the inquiry will be headed by an independent person. The Supreme Court has cleared decks for declaration of results of the Common Law Admission Test 2018 on Thursday for admissions to 19 prestigious national law colleges across the country. The Apex Court rejected the contention of the petitioner that CLAT 2018 be cancelled and retest be conducted. The Supreme Court bench also asked the Grievance Redressal Committee to submit its report on 6 June after taking note of complaints of various CLAT aspirants. Around 54,000 candidates had undertaken the CLAT 2018. Soon after the exam, several pleas were filed in 6 different high courts across the country and also in the Apex Court seeking quashing of the CLAT, alleging inconsistencies and technical glitches during the online test. Former Union Minister P. Chidambaram was granted interim protection from arrest in connection with the Aircel Marx's money laundering case on Wednesday. The Patiala House Court told the Enforcement Directorate that no coercive action can be taken against Chidambaram until the next hearing on June 5th. Hours later, senior advocates Kapil Sibal and Abhishek Manu Singhvi filed a petition in Delhi High Court seeking anticipatory bail for P. Chidambaram in the INX media case. The court will hear the matter on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Madras High Court refused to stay prosecution initiated against former Union Minister P. Chidambaram's wife Nalini, son Karti, daughter-in-law Srinidhi and a firm under the Black Money Act for allegedly not disclosing their foreign assets.
कोर्ट ने तो केवल यही कहा है कि 5 तारीख को नोटिस दिया है और साथ में कहा कि आप ईडी के साथ कोऑपरेट करो और हमने आश्वासन दिया है कि जब जब ईडी हमें बुलाएगी तो हम वहां जाएंगे तारीख पे.
And now the news from Karnataka, where Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has promised to honour his commitment to waive farmer loans within 15 days. Asserting that saving farmers is the priority of his government, Kumaraswamy said there is no going back on his promises to farmers. Under attack from the BJP over the delay in fulfilling his pre-poll assurance to farmers, Kumaraswamy met representatives of various farmer groups to discuss the problems faced by them. Kumaraswamy said he, along with his deputy G. Parmeshwara, will discuss the issue with Congress President Rahul Gandhi. In the run-up to the Karnataka polls, Kumaraswamy had promised to write off agricultural loans totaling to a whopping 53,000 crore rupees within 24 hours of coming to power. And fight against corruption has been the main focus of the NDA government. In the last 4 years, the government has taken measures aimed at combating the menace of corruption. One of the most talked about move was the policy of demonetization. Strongly criticized by the opposition, the policy has often been described as a major macroeconomic reform in the recent times. Here are the details.
It was this announcement by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on November 8, 2016, which changed the way we looked at the money.
8 नवंबर 2016 की रात्रि को 12 बजे से वर्तमान में जारी 500 रुपए और 1000 रुपए के करेंसी नोट लीगल टेंडर नहीं रहेंगे।
The move was aimed at transforming the way money circulated that sometimes changed hands beyond checks and balances.
It was a necessary evil. It was a shock to the system. The system had got used to a certain level and a certain way of working, and this came like a bolt from the blue. I think the consequences of it were many, and the greatest consequence was that it brought some fear into people who had unaccounted wealth, and that has been proved because the new tax returns rose by about 33% the year which followed demonetization.
With the demonetization of Rs 500 and Rs 1000 currency notes, nearly 86% of Rs 17.8 trillion worth of currency in circulation was withdrawn. The decision had immediate effects witnessed outside the banks and ATMs across the city. But there was an overriding feeling that this move had hit the corruption hardest.
इसमें कहीं न कहीं मुझे लग रहा है कि लोगों में एक क्लीन सिस्टम की चाह बनी, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग टैक्स नेटवर्क में आए और लोगों को करप्शन से डर नहीं लगने लगा। पहले क्या है, करप्शन रोकने की बात करते थे, बट किसके लिए करते थे? नेताओं के लिए करते थे, ब्यूरोक्रेसी के लिए करती थी। आम जनता करप्शन में भागीदार, एंटी करप्शन में भागीदार नहीं बनना चाहती थी। डिमोनेटाइजेशन मुझे लग रहा है कि एक बहुत लंबा मूव था, आगे तक दूरगामी सोच के साथ था, जिसमें इन्होंने करप्शन पे हर एक आम आदमी को इनको इंक्लूड करने की कोशिश किया।
The move got an instant support from the industry and India's business leaders. The international response too was positive, which saw it as a bold crackdown against corruption.
After the demonetization and the few months, like some industry, some small-scale industry was severely impacted because these industries were driven by the cash scenario. So labor market was also impacted. There are some repercussions of the demonetization on industry scenario, which are still there, and the results are still confusing. Though the program is successful overall.
The hardships and chaos faced by public soon found its way into the politics. Parliament witnessed sharp exchanges and long debate in both the houses. The debate was finally settled by Prime Minister Modi himself.
क्योंकि ये लोग ऐसे हैं कि जिनके खिलाफ हमने एक स्वर से लड़ना ही पड़ेगा। ईमानदार व्यक्ति को ताकत तब तक नहीं मिलेगी जब तक कि बेईमानों के प्रति कठोरता नहीं बरती जाए। और इसलिए इन कदमों का अल्टीमेट लाभ ईमानदार शक्तियों को बल मिलने वाला है।
The move was aimed at combating corruption. It was aimed at fighting the circulation of fake Indian currency, also aimed at fighting the terror funding. It also attracted criticism, but even amid criticism, this move still remains as the one with an aim to provide clean administration. In Delhi, Rajat Kain for Rajya Sabha TV.
And now international news. Militants armed with assault rifles and grenade launchers attacked the Afghan Interior Ministry in Kabul on Wednesday. According to the media reports, a car bomb was detonated at the entrance of the ministry to launch the attack, after which several gunmen managed to get inside the compound. However, their attempt to enter the main building was foiled as security forces gunned them down. The Interior Ministry said that the attack was carried out by a group of 10 militants and at least one policeman was killed while 5 were injured. A local affiliate of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria in Afghanistan claimed the responsibility for the attack in a statement published online. Both the ISIS affiliate and Taliban have launched several attacks in Kabul in the recent months, killing hundreds of people. And that's all we have for you in this edition of News Tonight. For more news and updates, keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.